This is a video for chili con carne. This is a Mexican dish and it's the basis of many dishes, and it could be turned into something like a spaghetti bolognese, which you could then turn into a lasagna, and it's also similar to the meatball dish that we started at the start of term. So the first thing you need to do is break up your mince in a saucepan. So put it in a saucepan, chop it all up, but you don't want big lumps of meat in your chili. You want it to be evenly dispersed amongst that. You're then just going to wait until you've chopped your onion, and then you're going to put your onion in with your mince. So to cut the onion, we're going to be using the bridge hold. Remember, it's a bit like a man's face. He's got the hat and then the beard underneath. So you always chop the hat off to start with, put it down flat on that hat so that it's not wobbling. Cut it through the beard. Remember, you never cut a man's beard off, you can just cut through it. Then we're going to peel both sides because we're going to be using a whole onion today. A red onion adds a bit of a sweeter flavour than white onions, but you could also use white onions. So peel both halves of your red onion. We do this because there's often bacteria in those layers because they're grown underground and they can be quite tough. So peel both those layers of onions. Then we're looking at these lines and we're going to cut through those lines. And we're going to go just 3/4 of the way down. And remember, it's like a Terry's chocolate orange. We're cutting each line into the middle section. Okay, so we're going to cut through there, turning your knife as you go, moving your hands out the way as you spin round. Do that to both parts of your onion, cutting into the middle point, all of that. Then we're going to dice it, so you're going to hold it together and finally go the other way to get small dices of your onion. Remember, only go down about 3/4 of the way down because otherwise it gets quite slippy and your chances are you're going to slip and cut yourself. So only go as far down as you are comfortable. Then, once that has all been diced, you're going to add that in with your mince. So just use your hands. Okay. And this is going to create that base flavour that you're looking for. So mix that all in, make sure it's all mixed together. You can hear it start to cook straight away. You don't need to add any oil to this because it's got some fat in the mince. However, if you're using corn, you need to add a little bit of oil as well to stop it sticking. So give that a little stir, then we're just going to gently cook that until all that meat is brown. Whilst that's cooking, you can start your carrots and your pepper. With the carrot, we don't want big chunks of carrot in our chilli, so we're going to grate it. We're going to take the top and the bottom off. Make sure you've given it a good wash as well. We aren't going to take the skin off because we're grating it. You're not going to be able to taste that skin, and it's got extra fibre in there, so it's better to keep it on. So using the wide holes on the grater, you're going to hold the carrot at a 45-degree angle. Okay, you don't want to be doing it flat, because it's really tough, and you don't want to be doing it that way because you're going to end up with a long sliver that's hard to grate. So 45-degree angle, and push really hard to get that carrot grated as quickly as possible. And we do it onto the chopping board so we can quickly put it into our dish as well. So like I said, using the big hole side, not the spiky side or the side with small holes. You could also add mushrooms if you were at home if you wanted to. Okay. Once all your carrot is grated, you're going to add that in as well to your onions and your mince. Put your hand inside the grater. It's not spiky. Just get any bits of carrot that are left over. We don't want any to be wasted. And give that a good stir. Make sure that's all incorporated. And this carrot is going to absorb all of the flavour from the meat and the spices, and you won't really be able to taste it. It just creates a nice base flavour. Okay, make sure that mince, any pink bits get down to the bottom and the brown bits get onto the top. There we go. So whilst we're waiting for that to cook, we can then get our pepper ready. So we're going to be using a whole pepper, but we need to take the top off and the seeds out. So we're going to slice it in half through the middle. Okay. And then take out any bits of extra pepper out. And then you're going to put your fingers under the seeds and just gently pull that out. Okay. Give it a good tap to get rid of any extra seeds. Same the other side. Put your fingers in there. That way there's very little wastage. Then we're going to cut it into some slices. So cut it one way and then we'll slice it the other way into chunks. But we're not going to put this in the pan just yet. We're going to wait until that mince has browned off first, and then we will be adding that in a minute. So slice your pepper into some chunks. You don't want them too small because you want to be able to taste them when you're eating your chilli and gives you a variety of texture then. So bits around that size are perfect. Okay, so whilst you're waiting for your mince to brown off, you can get yourselves 300 ml of hot water ready, waiting, and you can get your spices as well. So you can use chilli powder, and we've got mild or hot, so it's up to you how hot you would like that. So going back to the mince, that has all started to brown off. You can see the juices coming out of that now. So that's mostly brown now, so we're just going to leave it for one more minute. And we'll add the pepper in now as it's mostly browned off. And we're going to add some garlic into there as well to flavour it. So remember, with the garlic, you've got the top part and the bottom part. The bottom part's quite hard. That's the bit we need to chop off. Take that off, peel the garlic. Sometimes this can be a bit tricky. Peel the skin off that garlic. And then we're going to crush that directly into the pan. Don't forget, use the back of a knife, you can use that. Open it up and get any bits from inside into your pan as well. Now we're going to give that a good stir. And you can see all of that mince has now turned brown. So we're ready to go on to the next step, which is where we're going to add our liquid, our spices, into this on top. So the first thing you're going to do is crumble a stock cube. So you're going to have one stock cube, and we're going to put that directly into the pan. If you put it into the jugs, it tends to make the jugs quite a bit of a mess, and if you're making a sweet pudding later on using the jugs, you don't want to taste in the stock. So you're going to just gently break that up into the meat. Then you're going to add 300 ml of hot water into that to dissolve that stock. Give that a good stir, and as that cooks, that stock cube will dissolve and break down. On top of that, we're now going to add a whole tin of tomatoes into there. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of our spices in there as well. Add 1 teaspoon to start with, and once this is cooked, you can taste it and see if you will need to add any more later on. Give that a good stir. We're then going to add in some tomato puree. That is going to give a nice depth of flavour, and it's also going to thicken your chilli up, because you can see right now it's quite watery. We're going to keep cooking it and reduce it with heat, but we're also going to add tomato puree. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons full. Squeeze from the bottom of the tomato puree, not near the top end, because otherwise you're going to not be able to get all of that tomato puree. So 2 tablespoons out of there. Again, give that a good stir, and that is going to help thicken the sauce. On top of that, we're then going to add a whole tin of kidney beans. You need to drain your kidney beans because they're in a sauce, but you don't want that sauce going in with your chilli. So you're going to drain them over a sink in a colander. I want you to make sure you're not dribbling loads of water underneath, so make sure you're putting it on the side, and then you're simply going to give them a rinse under the sink salt and then add them into your chilli. These have got lots of extra protein, and they're going to give an extra texture to your chilli. Okay. Once that's all added, gently give it a stir to make sure it's all mixed in. And then you're going to cook this for half an hour until it's gone really thick and really glossy. And at that point, we're then going to taste it, see if you want to add any seasoning to it, see if you want to add any more spice to it, and we'll go from there.